everyone, and welcome back to another episode here on CottageCraft. Today we're going to be adding another tower to the castle. But before we get into that, I wanted to ask for any suggestions for different rooms within the castle, because I know that in the end, once all of the building is finished, I will then have to decorate the entire interior. I'm planning to do a basement in the castle as well, so if you have any ideas for that, leave them in the comments below, or just any ideas for how I fill all of the space. So let's get into building for today. I started by building the front section of this tower out of stone to keep it the same as the layer on the other side, and then I went in with some detailing to again match the main tower that we've already built. I wasn't sure about the big gap left at the top of this section, so I decided that I would make the wall go higher and then remove it from the bottom section, which I do think looks better. I then wanted to add some walls down the side as I did with the other towers, and I do think that this makes it look slightly more rounded and just adds a bit more detail. I then went in with some stairs at the top to make a nice pattern which looks cool when you stand back from it. But it was getting really dark and I really wanted to get rid of the rain, so I decided to sleep. But quite a few mobs had spawned, so I had to sort those out before going back to building. I added this slab and block detailing section as I've done on all the other areas of the build, which marks the end of the stone layer and the beginning of the diorite and calcite. I do think it looks really nice on this tower as well with the added details. Then to match this tower next to it here, I had to add the stripped spruce logs as the details around the diorite and calcite. This took a little while to do as I didn't have any stripped logs, so had to do that as I was adding them in, and then I resumed doing the stripy layer as I've done on every other section of this so far, as you can see here. There were also some pillagers in my base, but I decided just to leave them alone. This layer is quite tall, so it took a while to build them all up, and you have to make sure that you're not messing up the pattern as you go. It then started to get quite dark, so I decided the best thing to do would be to go back down, look at the progress, and then go to sleep. And look at how cool the sky looks here as the sun is setting. Once the calcite and diorite layer was done, it was time for yet more stripped spruce logs, as it was time for the completely wooden layer. Here's how it's looking halfway through putting in all of the wooden planks, and I do like how it matches up with the one next to it. It took ages to get all the way back up to the top, and once I was finished at the top, I added in this same layer that I've done for the rest. I like that some of the detailing matches up, but it's still quite unique, especially with the stone layer around the top. And you can even see this tower out of the window in my original starter cottage. I don't have enough scaffolding to make it all the way up the tower, so I decided just to use dirt, and this is how long it took. As you can see, it was a very long way up, and I kept falling off. I initially tried to add the roof when half of the tower was incomplete, as I didn't know what I was planning to add to it later, but I couldn't quite make it work out. Still, I quite enjoyed being up here as the sun was going down, although it meant that I would then have to go and clear the ground of all of the mobs which kept spawning around my area. I then realised that I was completely out of copper and would need to go back down into the mines to get some more in order to finish the roof. I made a few of the things that I would need, like some more pickaxes, before heading back up onto the roof to take down all of the copper I'd done so far, because I knew it wasn't right. It then got very dark, so I had to wait until it was safe to come down. Then I moved all of the building materials back into the chest and grabbed the things that I would need to go into the mines. And here's my dog. I went into the same mines that I usually use and found a load of copper, because quite often I tend to ignore it unless I need it for some building. I wanted to collect enough so that I didn't have to come back down before finishing the roof, and I'm pretty sure I accomplished that because look at how much copper I got. Finishing the roof took a really long time because I didn't like how it looked at first, but I used my happy gas in order to get up there, which is the first time I've used it for building, and also to be able to show you how it looks in the end. I think it might look better once the roof has oxidized, but if it doesn't, I might still change it. Please let me know if you like it in the comments below or what you think I could do to change it. I then needed to go restock some of the building materials that I had used, so I went back down into the mines. I actually managed to find some diamonds as well while I was down there, as well as the tuff that I needed in order to make more tuff bricks, which add the texture to the stone bricks in the stone layers of my build. I found a bunch of iron, which was really good because I always want to make sure that I have enough so I don't have to worry about using it, and 2 diamonds was also pretty good. Then I stumbled upon a mine shaft. I couldn't find any chests, which was kind of sad, but there also wasn't much in here at all, so I then decided to leave. I went back to the geode I already knew was there because I also need some more calcite for the calcite and diorite layer. It took me a while to get around all of the amethyst, but I managed to collect a decent amount. I decided that I wanted to finish the tower, including the back of it, and then potentially take bits out if I needed later on. But of course I then ran out of diorite, so I had to go back into the mines and collect yet more building materials. The tower looked pretty strained from the back, but this area in the middle here, I think I'm going to create a little outdoor courtyard, so I started on a little walled entrance to it. I then went to check on my copper golems and found that some of them had completely oxidized. I took 2 of them away and got the other one back to work, and decided that I would leave them here for the time being at the entrance of the castle. I don't know quite what I'm going to do with these. I know I'll need some candles for my build, so I started to go and try and collect some bees. I made these little hives, and I failed a little bit to try and get bees back on leads. Using flowers to bring them back was definitely the better idea. I took this one over the area that my base is on and over the bridge, which was really cute. I then brought back a second bee, which I'd also found in the birch forest, and then bred them together to create the cutest of the baby mobs, I think. This baby bee, I mean, it's so adorable. I think it's really, really cute. I just want more baby bees around my area now. I added some more flowers to this area before realising that a bunch of pillagers were here to ruin my time with my bees. I had to get rid of them and find my diamond sword and my shield to then be able to go back and attack them. It's really getting annoying how often these guys are in my base. The next thing I wanted to do was expand my wheat field, which I thought would make the whole area around the bees look a lot nicer. And I definitely think it does with the 2 hives and the added flowers. The next thing I had to do was collect as many levels as I could because I really wanted to enchant my diamond sword. I might switch to using this consistently instead of my iron sword, as well as my diamond armor once I have it enchanted, and I'm pretty happy with the enchantments I got. And that is it for this episode of CottageCraft. I'm really happy with the developments we made on the castle, as well as this super cute area for the bees. I think it looks really great with the flowers that I picked, as well as the new wheat areas, and the bees are also really cute. I thought I would need them to make candles for the interior of my castle, but again, if you do have any ideas for what I should put in my castle, any ideas would be really useful because I only have a few so far and the castle is definitely going to be quite big. Thank you so much for watching. In the meantime, between episodes, you can find me on Twitter and Twitch. Please like the video if you enjoyed, and I will see you in the next one.